Hey folks, it's me, Larry King, and I'm back with my own live show for the first time in 7 years. And it's a thrill to be live again because you're always in the moment. And I'm especially excited about this show because it's a way to give back. You see, I've had such a wonderful career. I've been able to live my boyhood dream of being a broadcaster and sharing my voice with the world. It's more than I could have ever imagined, and I pinch myself every day. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. My dad died when I was only 9 years old, and we had to go on relief. Never went to college. But I did have one thing, the ability to communicate, and that single skill gave me the opportunity to live a life beyond my wildest dreams. I believe that communication is the world's most valuable skill. If you have it, the world is yours. If you don't, it's going to be a struggle. But the truth is, I didn't figure this out on my own. I had a lot of mentors along the way, people like Jackie Gleason, who taught me how to have confidence in any situation, or Ted Turner, who taught me about loyalty. Without people like them and others, my dreams wouldn't have been possible. And so now I want to do the same thing for others. There are a lot of people out there who have big dreams for their lives, people like me, who want to share their voice with the world. If that's you, if you want to get your voice out on television, radio, podcasting, social media, whatever, this show is for you. Every month I'm going to interview a world expert in communication and ask them how they do what they do. A lot's changed since I first started. The principles of communication, though, are still the same. But tactics have changed. In this show, I'm going to interview world experts who can teach you the principles and tactics to help make your dreams possible. The show is Communication U, and class is now in session. Today, my guest is Roger Love. He's America's #1 voice coach and the man behind many of the world's most famous speaking voices. His client list includes people like Reese Witherspoon, Keira Knightley, and Jeff Bridges, Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Selena Gomez, and many more. Roger, welcome to the show. Welcome to the class.
Thank you so much for having me.
What is a voice coach?
Well, what I do as a voice coach is I help people create sounds that achieve their desired goals. So in the beginning, people came to me and they wanted to learn how to sing better. So their goal was to sing higher and louder and never lose their voice, and I helped them with that. And then later on, speakers started coming to me, and their goal was similar. They wanted to never lose their voice, they wanted to have control over all the sounds that were coming out of their mouths, and they wanted to influence millions of people.
That's what it is, right? Okay. How do you start, though? You didn't wake up one day and say, I am a voice coach.
I was studying to be a singer. I was always singing. I was born singing. And I was studying with a teacher and learning the techniques of how the voice works. And so then I started teaching voice quite early when I was 16. He brought me in as a junior partner, and I started working with a lot of very famous singers. And then quite a number of years later, speakers started coming to me, and they asked if I would be their voice coach. And in the beginning, I turned them away, saying I only work with singers. And then I realized that there's no difference, that a singer can move millions of people and influence them, and that I could teach the speakers the same thing.
You can't teach them to have a better voice, can you? You can't make my voice deeper, or can you?
I can.
I've never been to a voice coach.
Great. Well, I'm happy to be your first one then. We all think that we are the voice we were born with, but the truth is we're just imitating the sounds that we heard. So if my dad had a soft voice, I grew up imitating a soft. If my mother had a nasal voice, I grew up kind of speaking nasal. We're the voices that we imitate, but we were never born with a technique to figure out how high could we go and how low could we go and what sounds could we make that our parents or our nannies weren't making. So I came along and decided to create a technique that would help people make the most of their instrument, no matter what it sounds like right now.
So you can use this in anything. You don't have to be a speaker. You can use it in life.
No, my greatest joys are teaching housewives and husbands and kids in school and doctors and lawyers and all professions, because life doesn't really exist without communication. And once I realized that I could help people communicate in a way that was more musical, that was more emotional, then it is for everyone, and I was happy to help everyone.
How young could someone have a voice coach?
I've taught people as young as 5 and 6 years old. It
Little
depends
prodigies.
it depends what their attention span is.
All right, is there a difference in training a singer as opposed to a speaker?
The technique is similar. The difference is when you speak, you don't have to stay on specific notes. So when you're a singer, you have to learn to control your voice more so that you can stay on exactly the notes that the song tells you to stay on. But speaking is easier because I could just say this is the right note or this is the right note.
What's the most, when celebrities or people come to you with a problem, I know that everyone, for example, Tiger Woods has a golf coach. Actors have acting coaches. What's the difference between coaching a singer and coaching a speaker? And what's the biggest problem they bring to you usually?
The biggest problem is that they are losing their voices. The human voice is set up to speak or sing 24 hours a day, but most people can't do that. So they're doing something with their voice, with what they're eating or the sounds they're making. So the biggest problem is I've got to make it so that you can open up your mouth and speak or sing for 24 hours a day.
Are my vocal cords built to speak all the time?
Yeah, even when you're sleeping and you're having a dream and you're in the World Series and you're saying, throw the ball to me, your vocal cords are still moving at night the same way as if your mouth was open and you were speaking during the day.
Really?
Yeah, there's almost no period of inactivity for the voice. When you're imagining what you could say or when you're dreaming, your vocal cords are still moving.
What makes a bad voice?
A voice that doesn't move people emotionally. A voice that you hear and you say, something about that person I just don't really trust or like or believe.
And it does. You could have a southern accent and be terrific. You can have a grovelly voice, right? You can.
Yeah. Every single voice on the planet is different. That's what makes it so special. Accents, fantastic. Accents only get in the way when you say words to me that are so differently pronounced that I don't understand what it is. But all the differences, amazing.
You can change the voice you're born with?
Yes, because let's say my grandmother left me an amazing piano and I put it in the living room, but I never learned how to play. So I have a great instrument in the piano, but I have to take piano lessons to learn how to make that instrument sound great.
And how about people with problems like stammer or stutterers? You work with them?
I love working with stuttering. I've found that it is an airflow problem. And interesting tidbit, no matter how bad you stutter, when you sing, you don't stutter.
There's that old joke. This guy is two guys in show business, a comic and a singer, and they're living together in a hotel room. And this comic goes out, comes back, and the singer is going, whoop, 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 whoop. He goes, sing it, we've been robbed. Why don't they stutter when they sing?
Because there's more of an even airflow. So I teach the stuttering people how to sing, and then I teach them how to speak with the same air that they're singing with, and I can really dramatically get rid of stuttering.
How much of this is confidence?
Some of it, but it's when you learn how to have a great voice and you open up your mouth and people hear you, they treat you differently. So having a great voice is an amazing confidence builder because they hear you and they think, well, you must be smart, you must be powerful, and then you feel smart and powerful.
Great orators like Franklin Roosevelt had that wonderful voice. And radio teaches you good voices too.
Absolutely.
King George stuttered, had a stammer, became a great speaker.
He didn't meet me.
Why are so many people, in fact, someone said this is the #1 fear, afraid to speak in public?
Right, crazy. In this world where there should be so many other fears that we should be more afraid of, the number one fear in America is speaking in public. I think it's because we're so afraid of being judged. So we get up and we speak, and we want to be liked. And we think, well, what'll happen if they don't like us? And what'll happen if they don't buy whatever we're selling? So people are afraid. And if they had more confidence, if they realized that they could open up their mouths and make beautiful speaking music, then they would have all the confidence in the world, and they couldn't wait to get up on stage.
How about, though, honesty? If you're afraid to speak and you get up and say, I'm afraid of this, the audience is right in your boat, right? They're afraid too. So how about that part, using inflections to take them into your compass?
I like that. There's been all kinds of new studies. Yale University just came out with a study that basically said they used to believe that physiology, how you moved, made people like you or believe you. But now they say you can lie with your face and your hand gestures. So facial gestures are not truthful anymore. They used to say that what you did with the words mattered. But now science says that the words don't matter. The only thing that actually matters is the tone of the voice, the melodies and the volumes and the cadence. That if you sound a certain way, people just like listening to you, and then they like you.
George Burns said the key to success is sincerity. If you can fake that, you got it made.
I love it.
Actors have to change their voices all the time to play different roles. They have to go sometimes subtle if they're playing a real individual from the past. Can you train that?
Yes. Many, many times actors come to me to play particular roles. As a matter of fact, most great actors start when they're given a script to figure out who the character is by figuring out what the character should sound like. Meryl Streep always says this. She looks at a script, figures what the voice of the character is, and then it's easy to do all the rest, what the character should wear, what the character should say. But she starts with the sound of the voice.
You know, we don't think about that a lot.
Right? And
the way we sound.
And we don't think about that we should all be playing different characters with different sounds. During the day, I'm a voice coach, and I'm loud and strong, and I think I'm omnipotent, and I can solve all problems. If I take that voice home to my wife, and I walk in the door as voice teacher, she's like, shh, nobody wants to learn here. Take the trash out. So then I have another set of sounds for my wife and different sounds for my kids. And I play all those characters authentically because they're all me, but I don't try to use the same voice. And I think that's where people get in trouble. They take their office voice home, and they don't understand why their wife's not listening to them or their kids are not listening to them. We have to be a little adaptive and sing different songs to different people.
Is loud better?
Loud is not better unless you mix it with volume. When you get loud, people perceive that as angry. But as soon as I get loud and I add a lot of melody, then people perceive that as happy. So loud without melody is angry, but loud with melody is fantastic.
In fact, a lot of great actors, maybe more in the past, we recognized by their voice. Humphrey Bogart.
Of course.
You would right away. All he had to do was say hello. Ronald Reagan had a great voice. Barack Obama has a great speaking voice.
And now we know that the sounds of the voice make people believe you, and the people with the greatest voices are going to have the most followers.
How long does it take for someone to change their voice so that it becomes, they don't have to go to you?
I can change the voice in minutes, and then they have to get used to hearing themselves. So if you have a pretty good ear, and maybe you grew up singing happy birthday, at least at your birthday party and other people's, and you have a little bit of a pitch ear, doesn't take that long. But the bottom line is that you can change the voice in minutes. And then with a few minutes a day of the exercises and things that I give people, you're just reinforcing getting used to those sounds. But it might take you 10 years to be a good pianist, and it might take you 10 hours to completely revamp your voice and live with it for the rest of your life.
I've never asked this, Roger, but I've been in broadcasting over 60 years. And whenever I hear a tape of myself, it doesn't sound like I sound to myself. So my voice coming out now as I hear it there is not when I hear it back on tape the way I hear it here. What is that?
Sound comes out of our mouths, and invisible sound waves come out, and then they vibrate the bodies of the people that hear it. Sound traveling away from you sounds different than sound traveling towards you. So when you make sound, you feel all of the vibrations in your body, but I don't hear any of that. So then when you hear your own voice recorded back, you don't feel all of the vibrations, so it sounds completely different. That's why 95% of the people absolutely hate the sound of their own voicemail message, because they're not used to what they sound like.
Yeah, to me, it's all these years, it's still, that's not me. Ryan Clark on Facebook has contacted us with a question, and he wants to know, what is a common mistake parents teach or pass on to their children in learning how to speak?
That the words are more important than the melodies that you use. They let their kids end all of their phrases going down. I really like my dog. This is my wife. That's my toy. And what they don't realize is when the melodies go down, it makes the kids sound like they're sad. And so they teach them at a comma or a period to go down, which is a bad melody. We need to teach things that make the kids sound happy and powerful and strong instead of worrying so much about the words they're using.
When you say melody, I think music. You think something different.
I think music. I think that whenever you speak, there are notes that you make, even if you don't know what those notes are. So here I'm making...
It doesn't have to be a piano.
No. So here I'm making a melody that goes up. Now I'm going up, from lower to higher to higher to higher. And now I'm going down, from higher to lower to lower to lower to lower. That's a melody. Low, high, high, low, low, high. We're all speaking melodies. But what we don't realize is that a song is crafted with melodies that make people cry or dance. And yet most of the melodies that we're using when we speak are just putting people to sleep.
Is speaking taught in English classes?
No.
Is speaking taught in any classes?
No, because it's all word-based. And once you realize that the words only mean something if they have the right volumes and melodies and speed. So no one is teaching the sound of the voice as the lead way of learning to communicate.
How long does it take to change your voice? How long,
Literally minutes. That's what's so fun about it. I love it. People come in, they're stuttering. 15 minutes later, they're not stuttering. They come in, they just sound absolutely monotone, and all of a sudden I have them with melody. They have no volume. 5 minutes later, they have volume. They sound really, really nasal like that. 5 minutes later, they don't sound nasal at all. That's what's fun. It's fast, transformational.
Are there differences between men and women?
Absolutely. And what I try to do is, the myths are that women think sometimes if they're talking to a lot of men, they got to go low. And men think sometimes if they're talking to women or young kids that they've got to go high. But neither is true. What you need to learn is that each voice, male and female, is capable of going really low and really high. So if you learn to build it like an instrument, when you're speaking to people, you use some of the powerful lows, men and women, some of the powerful lows, some of the amazing bright middle sounds, and then some of the beautiful highs. And if we all used that, if we all thought of ourselves as pianos with a bunch of keys, men and women would be able to communicate better and more like they were the same.
Are there different tips for men than for women? Give me an example.
Men often have too loud of voices and they sound too edgy. So because their vocal cords are long and fat, and so they sound edgy and they sound like they're angry all the time. And women often have more airy voices. So women need to add more edge, and men need to add a little bit more air.
Good storytellers don't have to have a great voice. If you tell a story well, it's true. Arthur Godfrey, one of the great figures in the history of broadcasting, basically had a monotone, but he had a certain way that came through the airwaves, and he could tell a story. And stories are hypnotic if you could tell one well.
Yes. Maybe certain great storytellers didn't have a lot of melody, but then there were other sounds that their voice was making that was still unique and captivating and emotional. So it's impossible to be a great storyteller unless there's some emotion in your voice.
People, we don't have him on tape, but people always say that Lincoln had a high-pitched voice. What made him a great speaker? What made him move crowds?
Look, I've never heard a recording of Lincoln. I think that's interesting. How great could it have been if we've never heard a recording?
77 years ago with a high pitch.
Which is unusual because he was so tall, too. You'd think he'd have a bigger voice.
Kit Pang on Facebook wants to know, what's the best way to tell someone to work on their voice?
The story is I went to a famous manager one day, and I said, I want you to be my manager. And he says, well, what do you want me to do as your manager? And I said, I want you to tell all of your famous clients that they need a voice coach. And he said, if I tell all of my famous clients they need a voice coach, they'll fire me as their manager. Because that's me saying, you're not good. So the best thing that you can do is realize that everyone should have a coach.
When great singers come to you, Caruso, he had a voice coach.
Yeah.
What can they tell Caruso?
Well, the story goes like this. Pavarotti was singing and being very successful. And then he watched another opera singer and he was looking at her stomach. And he noticed that her stomach was moving out and then in, out on the inhale and then in as she exhaled. And he went up to her and he said, what are you doing? And she said, it's called diaphragmatic breathing. And he said, can you teach me that? And she taught him, and then that changed the second half of his career. Pavarotti said he didn't even know how to breathe the first half, and then it was so much easier when he learned how to breathe.
Frank Sinatra once called Pavarotti for advice. He would watch Tommy Dorsey play the saxophone, and his jacket wouldn't move. That's breath control, right?
Breath control. Frank Sinatra was a genius at breath control. He tells stories of how he literally was just studying what the horn players were doing, and that's how he learned how to phrase, and that's how he learned how to breathe.
He said he was a musician. That goes back to what you said about melody. If you had only 15 minutes to help a star before they go out to deliver a speech, because some stars are not good at speaking. You know, you could be a very good actor or a very good singer, but if you're called up at the Academy Awards, you blah, 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 blah. Can you teach someone 15 minutes to go on?
Yes. One of the things that stage fright does, and you could be a great actor or a great singer and still have stage fright. Stage fright makes physical things happen, like you get short of breath, your pulse starts to race, you start to get dry mouth. So I help people get over that by, first of all, slowing down their breath. When you're nervous, you're about ready to get up and accept your Academy Award, and your breath is racing, I do this thing called counting, and we breathe in, we take a breath, and we think 1, 2, 3, 4 as we inhale, and then we think 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it slows down the breathing. So you slow down the breathing, and some other exercises that I literally have, which take some of the negative physical things away.
How much is genetic? I have 2 teenage boys. The 18-year-old has a voice that could sound like me. The 17-year-old has a completely different voice.
It's fantastic if you're born with a great voice or a great ear to hear sounds. But statistics say that you take 2 young people, one born with a great instrument, one not with a great instrument. If the person doesn't do anything with their instrument, let's say they want to be a singer or a great speaker and they never really work on it and perfect it and learn music and singing, then they never end up sounding great. But the person who Mother Nature kind of forgot, let's say they sing all the time, they speak all the time, they take classes, they try to learn things, that often the person with less Mother Nature help can exceed past the person who just didn't do anything with the talent they were born with.
Have you had cases, I call them cases, where it just didn't work? Bad learners, or do you blame yourself?
A great teacher can always find a way to make it work. When it doesn't work, it's because the person didn't give themselves enough time to learn it, because some people are fast learners and some people are slow learners. I can fix anybody's voice. Sometimes it just takes a little longer, depending upon where we start.
You never give up.
Never. That would make me a terrible teacher.
Jane Summers on Facebook wants to know, how do you project easily?
You learn to speak or sing while your stomach is coming in. We've got this system that when you're supposed to breathe in through your nose and pretend you have a balloon in your stomach, and then when you speak, your stomach's supposed to come in, and the stomach comes in and acts like a funnel, which helps push the air out. But most people are not moving their stomachs when they speak. So if I don't move my tummy in, I'm holding my breath the whole time. So we're supposed to only speak or sing while the stomach is coming in. That's how to create volume, because more air pours out of our mouths, and that's a part of volume.
But I never think about it.
You naturally learn to create volume because you are breathing correctly. But people always say this to me, oh, I don't want to have to think so much. And I always say, well, that's great if you're not thinking and what comes out is amazing. But what are you going to think about when it's not amazing? Then you need a little technique.
James Ramsey on Facebook wants to know, how do you change a monotone voice?
You realize that a piano has 88 keys. Some pianos have 90 keys, a Bosendorfer for a German composer that decided 88 wasn't enough. You realize that your voice is an instrument and you have to force yourself. Here's some words that I say low, and here's some words that I say a little higher, and here's some that I go really high. You have to force yourself to look for melody. Sing songs. I tell people to take Happy Birthday, and the melody goes, Happy Birthday to you, and then just put common phrases in. Today I'll have lunch, tomorrow maybe dinner, the next day I'll be full, so I won't eat at all. So put words to songs that you already know, and then learn to use that same kind of melody without the songs.
That was very good, Roger. That was.
I could be a teacher.
You should try that.
I'm going to get business cards printed.
You work on your own children?
Yes. Both of my kids are singers. I've been working on both of them since before they were born. I used to sing to the belly of my wife while my first child was still in there, and I would sing 3 songs every single day at about the same time. And then when she came out and we brought her back from the hospital, every day I would sit her down at the piano, and she'd be in the bassinet, and I'd sing those 3 songs, and I would sing maybe 10 songs, but only when I sang those 3 songs did she perk up and make googly giggly noises. And that, my first daughter, is a multi-platinum recording artist who sings and writes songs for everybody else right now. And my other son, who's 14, is in a band, and he plays instruments and he sings great.
My wife is a singer, and she swears by you. What did you do for
She swears at me?
No.
Oh, by me. Totally different. Thank you so much. She has a beautiful voice, Sean, and I just opened up the range a little bit more because she wasn't singing every day. She was born with a gift. But if you don't sing every single day, your throat starts to close, you start to lose the breathing.
So you have to use your gift.
Yes. They say now, science supports that if you were to sing or speak the way that I teach people, because it's the same as singing, and if you did it 20 minutes or 30 minutes a day, it could increase your life expectancy up to 8 years.
Tony Bennett sings an hour every day.
He's going to live forever.
He's over 90.
He's going to live forever.
Roger, you're a great guest, and I'm so proud that you have been with us on our first advent of Communications University.
It has been my honor to be with you. I look up to you. You're a role model of voice, and I really appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Roger. Up next, Roger will be in the Communication U classroom, teaching you the 3 secrets to celebrity-like influence and superstar communication. That's it for me. Hope you enjoyed our time today. I know I did. Roger's class is coming next, and I'll see you next time.
Hi, I'm Roger Love, celebrity voice coach and founder of the Perfect Voice online program. Welcome to my Communication U exclusive training. I really hope you enjoyed my world premiere live interview with Larry King. That interview gave you just a glimpse of the influence and impact you could enjoy when you've crafted the perfect voice for you. Now, I want to give you the next level of training so you can start to experience for yourself the difference that voice training can have in your professional and personal life. In this video, I'm going to reveal 3 secrets to celebrity level influence and superstar communication. I've learned these secrets through many years of being the voice coach behind some of the most famous voices in the world, from Tony Robbins to Reese Witherspoon to Brendan Bouchard and Tyra Banks. I actually spent the early part of my career coaching singers like the Beach Boys and the Jacksons, and then later on, John Mayer, Selena Gomez, and Gwen Stefani. I've vocal coached more than 100 million CDs and album sales worldwide so far, and discovered that whether you're singing or you're speaking, the human voice works almost exactly the same. And you don't have to be a star or spend every day in the spotlight for these voice techniques to improve your life. The fact is, no matter what job you have or dreams you're working towards, the 3 secrets that I'm about to share are exactly what you need to hear and know. And if you stay till the end, I'll give you even more concrete ways that you can get the results you want, starting today. So let's jump in and uncover the first secret: how to finally get the reactions that you want from others. It all comes down to this. You have to control the way people perceive you when you speak so that you can get the reaction you want from your listeners. In the music industry, it's very important for a singer to have a certain sound, a style that's unique, so that when you hear even a small part of the latest song on the radio, you instantly know it's Michael Jackson or Ariana Grande or Frank Sinatra. To become unforgettable in a good way, speakers need to find their own unique, recognizable sound as well. I call this a vocal brand. It's how you instantly make people realize what you stand for and what's so special about you. No matter what your subject is or whatever you're talking about, this matters because when you can control how people perceive you, you can influence how they react to you. So, how do you create a vocal brand? Using what I call the 5 building blocks of voice. Okay, these are pitch, how high or how low you speak. Their pace, how fast or how slow you speak. Tone, whether you speak really airy and light or whether you speak edgy. Melody, do you have a lot of melody like a great song, or are you pretending that you're just one note on a piano and just staying on the same note all of the time, called monotone? And volume, are you loud, are you soft, do you mix it up? These 5 elements make up how your voice sounds, the tonality, and they're the deciding factors when it comes to controlling how others perceive and actually feel about you. Now, singers are incredibly good at moving people emotionally because they've already mastered the use of tonality. As a speaker, you can do the same thing. and emotionally engage people when you speak. I want to teach you how to do this in your own life. It's the best way to finally get the reactions you want from others and become an engaging speaker. I want people to be moved by you because that's the beginning of a real relationship that can last a few minutes or a lifetime. So now that you understand a little bit more about getting the reactions you want, the next step to gaining celebrity-level communication and influence skills is making people remember you. To make them remember you, you need to understand a little bit of how the brain works, and it's actually amazing. Here's just a quick summary. When someone speaks to you, the sound goes in your ears into a part of your brain that acts like a filter, and it processes emotional content first. And then only after that, it sends what you heard to get processed to the logical part of your brain, where it processes information. But that happens only second. So this means that you have to emotionally engage listeners before their brains can even think of logically processing whatever you're saying to them. This whole sequence is really important because it means that great words or information won't reach your audiences if you don't deliver them in a way that's emotionally engaging, and you have to do that first. The words you speak are not going to do it, but the sounds your voice makes, the tonality, the pitch, pace, tone, melody, and volume, like I mentioned, that's how to emotionally connect with people. And we know from scientific research that the more emotionally powerful something is, the longer and more easily you'll remember it. It's really that simple. Use the tonality of your voice to move people emotionally, and you'll have the best odds of making them understand and remember you and your message. Okay, now you're ready for the third secret, one that people ask me every single day. What's stopping good speakers from becoming great? In 3 words: strategic voice training. And what makes it strategic is the way voice training is tailored for speakers and informed by the key principles I taught you today. How to master the tonality of your voice so you can emotionally engage listeners and be remembered, and get fantastic reactions by controlling the way people perceive you and your vocal brand. By watching this training, you're already way ahead of your competition because you know now what industry leaders have been coming to me to learn for decades. Your voice is the most powerful communication tool you possess. So if you want to be a great speaker and successful communicator, you need to improve your voice. I honestly believe you could be throwing dreams and dollars just down the drain if you don't start with your voice to become a better speaker, communicator, and influencer. Because voice coaching for speakers can solve so many of the embarrassing, frustrating problems that you might be struggling with right now. For example, do you ever lose your voice? I can fix it. Too many ums and uhs. I'll show you how to eliminate them. Does your voice get all shaky and weak and monotone, like I said earlier, when you present? That's not going to happen for you anymore. Stanford University research already showed us that the words you use only make up about 7% of whether someone likes you or trusts you. That's why traditional communications classes won't fundamentally improve you as a speaker. I want to give you my strategic voice training method so you can finally be free from worrying about the words and have the confidence to speak with anyone, anywhere. A student of mine who was an English professor at a very prestigious university, she came to me because she actually wanted to be the first ever female chair of the English department at that school. But she felt like people weren't really respecting her or taking her seriously. She told me about how sometimes when she would grade papers, students would actually come up to her afterwards and say, "I want you to change the grade." They'd want her to change the grade she gave them. She believed it was because her voice was somehow betraying her. And she really did have this sweet and kind voice. So perhaps they thought they could just talk her into giving them higher scores. It turns out she was just speaking too high. She sounded like this little girl. And that's why the students figured they could just push her around. I fixed it, and she followed my exercises to just lower her voice. Not so much that she sounded like a man, just enough to make her sound more powerful, female, confident, and in charge. A few months later, she called me saying that students actually stopped questioning her grades. Her colleagues, they started asking more for her opinion on things, and the university made her chair of the English department. Now, can you imagine? I love getting calls like that. And I want to help you get what you want as well. Voices, it's just the starting point we'll use to improve every other area of your life. That's why I've created the world's first comprehensive online course for the fundamentals of voice training, specifically for speakers. It's called the Perfect Voice Complete Collection. It's the best way that I could come into your life right now and fix what needs fixing. Now, my in-studio clients pay thousands of dollars for the warm-ups and the voice exercises you're going to find in my Perfect Voice Complete Collection. But you don't have to pay my in-studio coaching rates to learn these life-changing techniques. You see, I'm on a mission to change the world, one voice at a time, starting with yours. So I've priced this course at the absolute lowest that I possibly could, just $147 when you click the button below. That's about $2 per training video. And what you'll learn inside will pay you back for years to come. In just one of the videos, I show you how to sound when you ask for a raise. And that one lesson alone could easily pay for this course 1,000 times over. Look, I want your voice to lead you to success in every single part of your life. That's why the Perfect Voice Complete Collection includes the Perfect Voice Starter Pack, which gives you all the basic techniques and content you need, and the Perfect Voice for Love and Relationships with specific content to finally help you connect with all the personal relationships you have or still want in your life. And you'll also get the Perfect Voice for Money and the Workplace, which shows you how to communicate masterfully in all of your business dealings. Bottom line, with the Perfect Voice Complete Collection, you'll be able to use your greatest communication tool to your advantage in the boardroom, bedroom, and beyond. I know you're busy, which is why my complete collection also includes downloadable audios so you can learn on the go and replay them whenever you want. Even better, I'm giving you instant access so you could start learning my techniques today. By the way, changing your voice is a lot easier than it sounds. You can hear changes by practicing just a few minutes every day, and you don't even need to know how to sing. You just watch the videos, imitate the sounds that I make. It's that easy. I'm so excited to see how this training program will change your life that I want to give you 2 bonuses right now. First, I know that figuring out exactly how you sound now is going to jumpstart your learning because you'll be able to dive right into the parts of my technique that you need the most. That's why I'm giving you my 4-step system to know your voice. This PDF is so helpful that I value it at $147 alone. But today, I'm giving it to you for free. And I want to give you a second bonus. This is going to help you learn the content in a new way and remember it for a long time. It's my guide to the perfect voice. This full-color PDF covers summaries of every single video, plus tear-out worksheets and infographics. It's also a $97 value, but I'm going to give it to you as a gift when you click the button below now. And when you click that button, you're going to get all $530-something worth of cutting-edge training, all of it for $147. I'm so confident that the perfect voice will improve your voice that I absolutely guarantee it. All you have to do is watch the lessons, apply my techniques, and practice the daily warm-ups for 29 days. And if by day 29, your friends and your colleagues don't find you more interesting, more confident, and easier to listen to, just send me an email and I'll give you back every single dollar. Fact is, you have everything to gain by getting your perfect voice today, by watching my interview with Larry King and getting to this point in the training. I know you're serious about becoming the best communicator that you can be. So I still have one final gift for you. For the next 48 hours only, I'm going to give you $50 off my Perfect Voice Complete Collection. You just enter promo code KING50, that's KING50 at checkout, and enjoy the feeling of getting incredible coaching plus suddenly being $50 richer. So just to do a little recap, when you click the button below and enter the promo code KING50, you'll get my entire Perfect Voice training collection, including the Perfect Voice for Money and the Workplace, and Love and Relationships, and the downloadable audios, plus the 2 PDF bonuses I already mentioned. All of it for $97. The Perfect Voice has helped so many people achieve huge promotions, get book contracts, close the biggest deals of their lives, get dream jobs, and so much more. I want to bring you into my family of students and be there applauding when you achieve your biggest goals. All you have to do right now is make the choice to get the voice and influence you need with the most cutting-edge program on the market, plus save $50 when you use the promo code KING50. That's KING50 at checkout. This special offer is only for Communication U viewers, and it's only going to last for the next 48 hours. Whether you want to rule the office, your industry, or the world, victory begins with your voice. You have the power to make today the first of your new life as an owner of the perfect voice for you. It all starts when you click the button below. So until I see you in the program, I'm Roger Love, and I am excited to be your new voice coach.